Hi, fourth grade, it's Miss Mold here. We are going to go over the mental math and the math message for lesson 6-11, which is angle measures as additives. So now you guys are probably noticing that we went from lesson 6.9 to 6.10 to 6.11. We skipped 6.10 because it was how to use a protractor, and many of you do not have protractors at home. So we thought it would be okay if we skipped it. So if your everyday math online isn't on the correct lesson, make sure you guys go ahead so you are on lesson 6-11. So today we're going to be talking about adding and subtracting to find the measures of unknown angles. So first we're going to warm up our brains by using our mental math and fluency. So today we're going to be reading decimals, and we are going to be writing the base 10 numericals of those decimals. So let's get started. 9/10. So as you can see, they give you a number and the place value that number is in. So 9/10, if you wanted to write that as a fraction, it would be 9 over 10, 9/10. But here they want the decimal, the base 10 numerals, which is a decimal. So we would do 0, and is that decimal point, 9 in the tenths place value. We don't have any hundredths here, so you're going to stop right there. 3/10, you would do the same thing, 0.3/10. If you were going to write it as a fraction, 3/10. Okay, 7/10, 0 and 7/10, or 7 over 10. Okay, so we're going to keep moving on. You'll notice our new place value is hundredths, and you'll notice that this number has 2 digits in it. So the 5 would be in the tenths place, and the 6 is in the hundredths place. If I were to write this as a fraction, it would be 56 over 100. And if I was to write this as a decimal, it would be 0 and 56 hundredths. 12 hundredths as a fraction is 12 over 100, or as a decimal is 0.12, or 0 and 12 hundredths. Okay, 1/100th. You'll notice that 1 is a 1-digit number. So if I were to write this as a fraction, it would be a unit fraction, 1 over 100. Or 0, and now you'll notice we don't have a number in the tenths place here. So you need to represent that value with 0, and then a 1 in the hundredths place. So 0 and 1/100th. All right, they're going to start to get a little bit more challenging. 0 and 40 hundredths. So 40 hundredths. If I were to write this as a decimal, 0 and 40 hundredths. So you might be thinking, Miss Mold, that one's not that tricky. It's pretty self-explanatory. But I don't want you guys to write 0 and 4/10 yet. I want you to include that 0 because they're asking for the hundredths place value. And as you can see, if you simplified it to 4/10, you would leave out the place value that the question is asking you. So for now, just keep that 0. Okay, 3 and 24 hundredths. You will notice that there is a whole number here and a decimal. So if I were to write this as a fraction, it would be 3 and 24 hundredths, or 3 and 24 hundredths. Same thing for the next one, 18 and 7 hundredths. So 18 and 7 hundredths, or 18 and 7 hundredths. Don't forget that 0 in the tenths place. Okay, now that our brains are all warmed up, let's move on to our math message, which is going to be working on finding unknown angle measures. So you might be looking at this and start to get very confused and overwhelmed. But I promise you, if you just break it down and make sure you're looking at the letters, it will help you. So we're going to take this one sentence at a time. So let's start with the first sentence, and I'm going to use some color codings to help me so I don't get confused. The measure of angle APB is 17. So they are talking about angle APB. So this angle right here. And they told us that the measure of that angle is 17 degrees. So if I were to use a protractor, from here to here would be 17 degrees. Okay, the measure of angle BPC is 33 degrees. So now I'm going to get a green color. BPC. So from here to here is 33 degrees from here to here. So it really does help to color code if you're getting confused, and you need to look at the order in which the letters go. Okay, because that letter in the middle is going to be where the vertex is. So make sure that you are looking at how they write the name of the angle. So it says, without using a protractor, find the measure of another angle in the diagram. So you might be thinking to yourself, I don't see any other angles here. We have this one and this one, the ones inside. But what you don't notice is there is another angle. A, P, C, the big angle on the outside. So the angle that goes from here to here. So we don't know what this value is. We don't know from APC what this bigger angle is. So we are going to use addition to help us figure that out. So we know that angle APB is 17 degrees because it tells us that right here. And we know that BPC is 33 degrees. So we are looking for what APC is. We don't know. Okay, we're not quite sure what that angle measure is. But if you'll notice, it is this angle and this angle put together. So I'm going to add, and I'm going to get angle APC is 50 degrees. Because if I did 17 and 33, I would get 50. So angle APC measures 50 degrees. Stay tuned for the next video where I go over a review of benchmark angles, introduce you to some new vocabulary, and do some practice problems.